This is the plug and this is the water tank, and kind of be aware once there is water down in here, you can see this drips and you can see right in here how much water it got on there. But the water tank holds 1.7 liters. It covers 250 square feet. So if you convert that, that is 1 milliliter per 0.147 square feet. So in order to fill it, you twist it from here as a whole, not too big but not too small. Twist it back on. You notice that none of this is leaking up here, which is a nice surprise. Next, we have a big boy. We have the Honeywell. You can see this is the whole water tank. It comes on here. This thing is 4.16 liters. So how you fill it is basically you twist this off and carry it like that. And because of this right here, it kind of glides the tank back into place very easily. So the difference between the two humidifiers is that one is ultrasonic. It kind of vibrates the water, creating droplets in the air in the form of mist. And the minerals in the tap water can create like a white mist around your stuff and furniture, while evaporative is just a wick to soak up the water and a fan to carry that water into the air. And we'll go over how to prevent each issue in the cleaning section. So now we have the biggest humidifier of all of them, and the side right here, these are the water tanks. This is how you fill them. And because the way the handle is designed, even if you fill it up all the way, it'll still feel sturdy and won't break anytime soon. And if one side's full, you can get this side to fill it up and rotate in between them. Both of these combined is around 15.14 liters, so as you can see, quite a lot of capacity. Next, we have one of the brand names, the Levoit. This is a 6 liter capacity. You can see this is how you fill up, bunch of space. Handles on both sides to give it like a really sturdy feeling grip. The top plate feels very nice. It fits just snug in there, very nice. Next, we have definitely the prettiest of them all with the wooden base right in here. So this is what it looks like on the inside. That is the indicator. You can see a little bit of water through the frosted here. Also, I'm a little sus of these gaps. I'm like, if I get water in there, is it still gonna work? And in order to adjust the nozzle right here, you gotta rotate basically the entire dog right here, which is a little bit difficult also. You might wanna take it off and then do it rotating. Last but not least, we have the top fill Levoit, which is also pretty good on the aesthetics department. This is how you fill it. On the top, there is a big hole. And because the circle right here is the adjuster, it is so big and it feels so inviting that you naturally want to use this as a kind of handle to lift the lid, which is not the case for the other one. So now we can get into the base and how they work. This one, it is a kind of sensor right here. You click it on, as you can see, the mist. There are a few modes. You click again to turn on the light. Click it again to retain the light, but a stronger mode. You can see that there's more mist coming out now. Maybe this will make it easier to visualize how much mist is coming out. Also, this thing, you can rotate it to switch directions. I like how responsive it is. You can just basically touch. It is never failed me. The back here is a removable cable. Also, when you lift up, this is how the base looks right in here. There's no really moving parts in here. Yeah, it's easy to use. It's pretty good looking, but it's lacking a few features. So I gotta go with a C. So for the Honeywell, it's very simple. You just plug it in and then you turn the fan on. A little light right here. Once you turn it on, it will light up. I'm not sure if you can see, but that is the fastest mode, medium, and lowest. So in order to see the underneath, you take the tank out and you basically lift everything in here. And this is where the water kind of accumulates, goes into the filter, and the filter with the fan kind of evaporates. And a little bit of browning is fine because these are the minerals from the water. And this is an advantage of evaporative humidifiers. Take a note of the design right here that allows more airflow to come in when the fan is on to kind of go in from all angles to travel up from here. Easy, lacking auto, but it is a pretty big capacity. Second largest, I think, so C+. Next is the big boy. As you can see, it is currently on. The light is on. This is the low, medium, high, and also off for the fan. Also notice there is an automatic humidifier adjuster, which I really like. And the top actually comes off by itself. You can see all the electronics in here. And it's a similar system, but with two filters this time. A little bit of browning on top, and the water accumulates down here. So there's more surface area for the humidity to evaporate by the fan. And it also includes dividers for the air to get in. Like, goddamn, they thought of everything. Semi-easy, but it is the largest capacity out of all the humidifiers. But the auto isn't the best. It's kind of finicky. It's not always accurate, so I gotta give it a A-. So this one definitely has the most features. You turn it on, auto humidity right here. It also tells you what the humidity is like, which is for the last one, it doesn't really tell me what it is. 42, and that's the kind of steam output you should be expecting. On the low, I'll switch to medium, now switch to high. I don't know if you noticed, but there is a light right in there, so you can switch it on as a night light, get it a little bit brighter, and turn it off. You can also click on the night mode to completely turn everything off. But be aware, even though this is on high, when I click on night mode and click it back on again, it automatically turns it into auto when it is on night mode, so just keep that in mind. And if you're still not satisfied, there is an essential oil holder just in here, and it's super satisfying to pop it in and out again. This is the inside, and this is the only thing that's moving. Nothing else is really moving in here. Quite a bit of depth, so the spills can go on the edge and kind of drift downwards. And lastly, if you're too lazy to go up to your filter, click all these buttons. You can also control all of this through the app. It definitely has a lot of features, and it's easy to use all those features, but the capacity could be a little bit higher, so I gotta give this an A-. And now for our prettiest filter, you plug it in from up here and you click on mist right here to turn it on. These are all the options, but we'll see the mist first. But that is what you should be expecting. This also doubles as a light. You click on it. You rotate in between the lights as you click on more and more. But I gotta say, you can't really press the button with one finger. It's pretty hard unless you really jam it into it. So you gotta have two hands to operate this. But it does come with extra necessities like this fill and also remotes. On and off, timer, big and small, the lights, continuous mist or intermittent mist. As you can see here, this is the timer, 60 minutes, 120 minutes, and 180 minutes. But I gotta say, the most disappointing thing about this is the wood is plastic. This is not real wood. And the remote can work up to 6 feet. I don't know if you can hear that beep, but that is me turning it off and on again from this far away. So this is what it looks like on the inside. That is the indicator. You can see a little bit of water through the frosted here. This one has a lot of features, but it's pretty hard to rotate between them. It's kind of annoying. Not to mention, it probably has the lowest capacity, so definitely a D. And finally, we have the other Levoit product, which is very, very simple compared to the other one. There is just two modes, off and on, and max and medium. We'll start at the lowest mist level. I don't know if you can see, but a tiny burst of mist once in a while. I'll turn it to like around medium, a little bit more noticeable, and now the max. Now you can definitely see it. As you can see all around, there is no lights on this whatsoever, and also this is not detachable. And it's a little bit of a frosted kind of aesthetic right here. You can still see the water, but a little bit harder to see, but I do like the aesthetic of this. And the knob, oh my god, this is so satisfying. There's nothing like this. So this is what it looks like on the inside, not too many parts and decent amount of depth so the water doesn't come out. So this is definitely the easiest of all the controls, but that's because it has one control, a knob that turns like from low to high. Also, it's lesser capacity than its bigger brother, so I gotta give this a B. So we can move on to the noise and let you hear what the low and high settings of each machine sounds like. But we will see how it looks and how much it impacts in a completely dark area. This is almost pitch black because I need this light in order to show you what is happening. So it's a very minor light, you're not going to notice it unless you're looking directly on it. But that is quite noticeable. Because of the light illuminates the surrounding tank right here, you're not going to be able to miss this. Although this was great for sleeping, low noise, but you can't turn off the button, so I gotta downgrade this to a B-. The only lighting you gotta worry about is this tiny light, which I'll show you what it looks like in the dark. Not very noticeable at all from close or from afar. So this had no distractions, somewhat quiet, so I gotta give this a B+. The only light you gotta worry about is a red small dot, but this one is a little bit bigger, so we'll see how it looks. You can definitely see this a lot more, but it's not radiating light, so it's not really an issue from close or from afar. So the light is much larger than the Honeywell, and it is also louder, so I gotta downgrade it to a C. So the screen is pretty noticeable because it is blue, reflects off of the wood right here. Click onto the light. It kind of brightens up the bottom of the base, but not the entire tank right here. And the second level of light, same thing, but a little bit brighter on the bottom base. And lastly, without the screen, just the light, and this is what it looks like. I think that's pretty nice aesthetic for a night light. This one's pretty great. You can turn everything off, but you also have the option for a night light, low noise, so I gotta give this an A. This has probably the smallest light out of all of them, very tiny red one down here, and it also has a timer, as you can see, and also rotating modes. Even during nighttime, you can barely notice this from close or afar, so not a concern at all. This one has a very tiny light, and also it's the second quietest, so I gotta give this a B. So there's no lights whatsoever on this model, which could be a downside if you're wanting a night light for your child. And also don't have a auto-regulating humidity, so when you put this to sleep, you're gonna expect a lot of humidity when you wake up, which is similar to around a lot of the budget humidifiers you'll find in the market. Last but not least, this has no light and is the quietest, so I gotta give this an A+.